The sand was still warm beneath Marcus's feet as he watched his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, chase seagulls along the shoreline. The sun had begun its descent, painting the California sky in shades of amber and rose. He should have felt peaceful. Instead, his eyes kept drifting to the pink princess backpack beside him, the one that still held his late wife Sarah's sunglasses in the front pocket. 3 years gone, and he still couldn't bring himself to remove them. Marcus had been staring at those sunglasses when he heard a voice that would change everything. "Eyes are up here." He jerked his head up, face flushing with embarrassment, only to find himself looking at a woman in a wheelchair parked a few feet away. She was grinning, clearly amused by his confusion. Her dark hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and she wore a faded t-shirt that read, "Life's a beach." I wasn't," Marcus stammered, realizing how his downward gaze must have appeared. She laughed, a warm sound that somehow cut through the fog that had surrounded him for years. "Relax. I saw you looking at the backpack. Just couldn't resist the joke. I'm Elena, by the way. I've seen you and your daughter here a few times." Marcus exhaled, managing a genuine smile for the first time in what felt like weeks. "Marcus. And that's Lily down there, terrorizing the local bird population." Elena wheeled herself closer, her movements practiced and confident. "She's beautiful. Looks like she's got the ocean in her soul." Something in the way she said it, without pity, without the careful tiptoeing he'd grown accustomed to from people who knew he was a widower, made Marcus relax. They fell into easy conversation, watching Lily dance through the waves. Elena told him she'd moved to the neighborhood 6 months ago, that she came to the beach every evening to watch the sunset. A car accident 2 years prior had left her paralyzed from the waist down, but the way she spoke about it wasn't bitter or resigned, it was matter of fact, like someone describing the weather. "I used to be a competitive swimmer," she mentioned, gazing at the waves. "Funny how life works out, right? Now I can't swim, but I live closer to the ocean than I ever did before." Over the following weeks, those beach meetings became routine. Lily took to Elena immediately, asking questions with the blunt honesty only children possess. "Why don't your legs work?" she'd asked on their second meeting. Marcus had nearly died of embarrassment, but Elena had simply smiled and explained it in a way that satisfied Lily's curiosity without making it awkward. One evening in late September, Marcus arrived at the beach to find Elena sitting in her usual spot, but something was different. Her eyes were red, and she was gripping her phone tightly. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, settling onto the sand beside her. She tried to smile but couldn't quite manage it. "My brother called. He needs help with his kids for a few months, his wife is sick. Stage 3 breast cancer. They're in Arizona, and I told him I couldn't come. How can I help with 3 kids when I can barely manage my own life?" Marcus felt something crack open inside his chest. He recognized that look, the guilt, the feeling of inadequacy, the desperate wish to be stronger than you are. "You know what Sarah used to tell me," he said quietly. "My wife. She said strength isn't about doing everything. It's about showing up with whatever you've got." Elena looked at him, really looked at him, and he saw understanding pass between them. She knew about Sarah, he'd mentioned her in passing, but this was the first time he'd really talked about her. "I miss her every single day," Marcus continued, his voice barely above a whisper. "And I keep thinking I'm failing Lily. Because I can't be both parents. But then Lily laughs at something stupid I said, or she falls asleep holding my hand, and I realize, maybe showing up broken is enough." Elena reached out and squeezed his hand. "Your wife sounds like she was brilliant." She was. Marcus watched Lily building a sandcastle nearby. "She would have liked you." The next day, Marcus showed up at Elena's apartment with a proposal scribbled on a coffee-stained napkin. "Hear me out," he said. "What if we drove to Arizona together? You help your brother's family, I take a sabbatical from work that I've been needing anyway, and Lily gets to see the Grand Canyon. We help each other. No one has to do the hard stuff alone." Elena stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "Marcus, I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering. We're friends, aren't we? Besides, Lily hasn't stopped talking about you teaching her to paint. Apparently, I'm boring at art." What started as a crazy plan became reality within 2 weeks. They packed up Marcus's SUV, modified with help from a local disability services organization to accommodate Elena's wheelchair, and headed east. The drive itself was an adventure. Lily sang off-key songs from the backseat, Elena navigated and told stories about her swimming days, and Marcus felt something he hadn't felt since Sarah's death: hope. Arizona welcomed them with stunning red rock vistas and Elena's brother's overwhelming gratitude. The family was struggling, not just with the illness, but with the weight of trying to keep everything normal for the kids. Elena stepped into the chaos with grace, organizing schedules, helping with homework, and bringing a calm presence that the household desperately needed. Her wheelchair became irrelevant, she was simply Aunt Elena, the person who made everything a little bit better. Marcus found himself helping too, fixing broken fence posts, coaching his nephew's soccer team, and sitting up late with Elena's sister-in-law, Rebecca, while she cried about her fear of leaving her children motherless. "Does it get easier?" Rebecca asked him one night. "If the worst happens, does the pain get easier?" Marcus thought about his answer carefully. "It gets different. You learn to carry it. And you find people who help you carry it when it gets too heavy." His eyes drifted to the living room where Elena was reading to all 4 kids, Lily curled up against her side. 3 months passed in a blur of school runs, hospital visits, laughter, and tears. Rebecca's treatment was working, slowly, but working. The kids had stabilized, finding comfort in routine and the presence of family. And somewhere along the way, Marcus realized he'd fallen in love with Elena's strength, her humor, and the way she saw the world not as something that had defeated her, but as something still full of possibility. On their last night in Arizona, they sat outside under stars so bright they seemed impossible. Lily was asleep inside, exhausted from a farewell party. "Thank you," Elena said softly, "for giving me the chance to be useful again. To be more than just the woman in the wheelchair." "You were never just that," Marcus replied. "Not to me, not from the first moment you made that terrible joke on the beach." She laughed, then grew serious. "I think I'm falling for you, Marcus. And that terrifies me because I never thought I'd feel this way again. Like someone could see past the chair, past the limitations, and just see me." Marcus took her hand, threading his fingers through hers. "I see you, Elena. And you see me. Not the grieving widower, not the struggling single dad, just me. That's worth everything." They drove home to California as something new, a family in the making, imperfect and beautiful. When they reached their beach, the sun was setting just like that first evening. Lily ran ahead to chase the waves, and Elena and Marcus sat side by side, watching. "Eyes are up here," Marcus teased, echoing their first meeting. Elena grinned. "Yeah, but the best view is right in front of us." And it was. Not because their problems had disappeared or their pasts had been erased, but because they'd learned that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let someone see your weaknesses and trust them to help carry the weight. Sometimes showing up broken, together, is exactly enough.